All right, maybe look at Ascendis. It's a US company, or well, it's not a US company actually. So this is ASND. There's no stage 1, there's phase 1. Phase 1 is just a phase to determine if the molecule is soluble and available. It's really not a important, it's quite important in some ways, but it's not the value creating part of the clinical trial process. So this is a Dutch company, not Dutch, Danish. TransCon PTH. Well, they got a lot of offices for a clinical site in Germany, research site in Germany, commercial site in Germany. 3 different offices, 3 different cities. That's bizarre to me. I don't know why they would need a clinical site either. Commercial office in Princeton, that makes sense. Research site in California, another office in Palo Alto. Kind of bizarre. SKYTROFA. 𝗠𝗵𝗃𝗬𝗠𝗔𝗍𝗔𝗠𝗡, so it's a growth hormone. Hormone deficiency. All right, so that's their main product. Then they're going to have a couple of others in the pipeline. And I think that the advantage here is a dosing advantage. Growth hormone is a lot of the modalities of treatment are once daily injection, which for a child is a bit much. We've got PTH and CNP. PTH is for osteoporosis. That was a drug called 𝗕𝗢𝗢𝗚, now generic. CNP is for 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗢𝗚𝗔𝗟, which BioMarin has their drug. So, and then they, for some reason, have oncology products. PTH, parathyroidism? It wasn't PTH. I know what it is. I thought PTH was the active ingredient for 𝗕𝗢𝗢𝗚. It is. It's mostly used for osteoporosis, but I suppose you could use it for hypoparathyroidism. So this is once weekly growth hormone. I think there's another once weekly product, but I'm not the bro I used to be. I used to know every single drug in the pipeline. I still know 95% of them, but great. So that looks like they're launching this themselves. 31 gauge needle. They got a auto injector, room temperature storage. Okay, revenue. Well, we got to think about this. These patients don't take the drug for life, so they do roll off. These are also in euros, small adjustment there. So for this company, that's really what it's all about is, will this drug sell a lot and how much exactly? So they started with 1.9 million in revenue, then 4.4, then 12.3, and 17.1. So the launch looks pretty good, but they're still only run rating at a sub 100 million. Oh, there's my food. I'll be right. BRB. All right, adult GHD. Europe launch Q3 23. So I guess they got European approval. This is just US revenue. All right, so they're actually off to a decent start if you think about it from the international perspective. $4 billion global growth hormone market. We got to list all the growth hormone products, basically. We'll put that in the actual model, which used to kind of do that separately, but we can do it in here. The first one we can look at is just go to our other models. That's why we have these in the first place. A really nice way to just click around and get our data because we already follow all the other companies. That's how Pro does it. All right, so we're just going to go to 𝗕𝗢𝗓𝗏𝗏, which is Pfizer's growth hormone product, and it's kind of struggled. You can see the revenues dropped down quite a bit. It used to be $1 billion drug actually, but 𝗕𝗢𝗓𝗏 only did 360 last year, so kind of like a 10% market share. If that makes sense. Utropin, another product that's from Roche. Let's see if we have any numbers there. Where are we, Roche? Let's see, Utropin. last numbers I have for 𝗕𝗏𝗡𝗏 are pretty old, but it was a $200 or $300 million product quite a while ago. So 2013, it was 274. So who's the leader in growth hormone now? Let's see. I wouldn't worry so much about inflation. I don't know why you guys are so focused on it. What difference does it make to you? I don't think the FDA lets you just search for, oh, no. Can't, does it? It does, I think. I just wrote tropin, because growth hormone drugs end in tropin. But a lot of the endocrinology drugs do. It's funny that it does take the middle of a word, it looks like, or the end at least. It's in the wrong database. I was in Orange Book. There's genotropin. There's norditropin. There's 𝗕𝗏𝗡𝗏. I wonder if maybe it's not a $4 billion market that Ascendis is saying it does. I think there may be including GHRH drugs, like, for example, this one, 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏. I guess 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 is not GHRH. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 is the real deal. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 is pure HGH. There's SKYTROFA. 8/25/2021 approval. Oops, wrong column. Well, there's no other intelligent way to do this. Well, let's see. We're kind of doing it semi-intelligent way here. Let me try somatropin. Sandoz makes omnitrope. So we got norditropin. 𝗕𝗏𝗡𝗏𝗏 is still made by Eli Lilly, but it's not disclosed. We got genotropin. I don't think this is a $4 billion market. I think they may be lying. Sayzin is, I guess, the Merck growth hormone product, and I got it at about 240. I don't have 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 in here. Huh. This is not adding up to 4 billion. 𝗕𝗏𝗡𝗏𝗏 Lilly doesn't even disclose. I'm going to put that at 100. I don't think Novo discloses norditropin prior to Denmark. There's norditropin, but they haven't disclosed it in years. It did sell close to $1 billion in 2012, so it looks like it's probably the market leader. And I have this rare endocrine and other line, and I'm guessing that's mostly norditropin. So I'm going to put that at $1 billion. I'll be really generous to Ascendis. Omnitrope is from Sandoz. They don't disclose that, but I can get the IMS data, what's called IMS. So that's really it. I mean, I got all the growth hormones. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 is definitely another 100 mil, I think, but Omnitrope, I think, was the first truly generic biologic. Very weird. It was approved a really long time ago. So I'm getting 2 billion, so they must be including GHRH, but the GHRHs aren't very big. I wonder if there's other, I think there might be some other products. Let's see. Growth hormone deficiency drug. Sagroya. This is new. This is from Pfizer and 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗢. Yeah, these are all the ones that GoodRx has down, all the ones that we looked at. These are, Macrolin is the diagnostic. I remember Macrolin. Sagroya is new. Brought to you by Pfizer. And growth hormone deficiency comes up short. I don't know. I don't know why they're saying the market's 4 billion. Doesn't look like it. So this is idiopathic. This is like a very bizarre disease. Very rare. Chronic hypoparathyroidism. They have a PDUFA date already? Wow. That'll be their second approved drug. Pretty cool. We're looking at TransCon, which is the platform that this company, public company Ascendis, ASND, has. Interesting portfolio of products they have. CNP, I'm not sure how they're going to get approval given the 𝗤𝗏𝗏 drug, but versus placebo is a tough one given the 𝗤𝗏𝗏 drug is out there. Oh, ophthalmology, interesting. Interesting. Could be an AMD drug. Many attempts to make AMD drugs. 2024 IND. Be a while. Not too bad though. They file 6Ks because they're a foreign company. They also file every time they have a warrant exercise, which is a bit annoying. Okay, so we have financials. That's weird. Oh, well, there's revenue and then there's product, so it's a bit different. So it's not weird. Shares outstanding, 55 million. They have some warrants and some notes, but we're going to stick with the 55 million number for now. And so that makes it a 6 billion market cap. Pretty healthy sized company. If you're at a biotech hedge fund or a main hedge fund, general hedge fund, this is a stock that, and you're covering biopharma, this is a stock you have to look at because there's only so many large liquid companies and this is one of them. So you kind of, most of those analysts that I know in that space kind of specialize in that mid-sized company because the Pfizers, Mercks, and Amgens are too big, the small caps are too small, so you're stuck in that kind of 1 to 10 billion sweet spot. You can buy $100 million worth of this stock and the market won't go too crazy. If you try to buy $100 million of a small cap, well, the market you probably can't. And if you have to, if you try to buy $100 million of Merck, you can do that really easily, but Merck's probably not going to move very much. It's like watching paint dry. Yeah, I don't think the Huntington's can be treated symptomatically, unfortunately. Yeah, you'd own a quarter or a third of the company. Yeah, that's right, James. So if you're a hedge fund that has, billions of dollars, it's pretty tough to actually make that work. But if you're a $100 million or $500 million hedge fund, you can buy $10 or $20 million of a small company. But it's even then you could end up owning 5 or 10% of the company, which causes disclosure obligations and all kinds of things like that. Illiquidity, obviously, is the other big fear. It's all good when you want to buy it, but when you want to sell it, it can be a little bit annoying. All right, so these guys have a ton of cash. They raised a lot of money when they had a larger market cap. I think at one point they had quite a bit of a larger market cap, so it's calmed down a little bit. As I think partially what people maybe have realized is that the HGH market is really not as big as they're saying it is. They said the HGH market's 4 billion. My math says 2 billion, and I'm being a little bit generous. But at the same time, they're already on a $100 million run rate, and they just came out. So my guess is they'll get up to 300 or 400 million pretty easily. And maybe they can get up to $1 billion. My guess is 𝗠𝗏𝗏𝗏 and SKYTROFA, which have extremely similar names, which I wonder if it's an accident or not, they'll end up taking the entire market share. And the legacy once daily growth hormones will no longer be used. So we'll just be using once weekly growth hormones. Will that grow the market? I doubt it. Maybe some more people will get into this market because they don't have to give their kids once dailies, which is pretty obviously traumatizing. So, once weekly is a little bit easier. Let's finish off. I think we're pretty much done with Ascendis. Other than the most important part, we're gonna have to forecast the future and sort of see what it might be worth. Now, there's some kind of back of the envelope numbers you can do in biotech that don't necessarily require you to do that, but let's give this a shot. So let's see, this run rate is like almost 200. They said PDUFA for this is Q2, so they probably won't launch for a little bit. But let's say this will probably be a very expensive drug since they're targeting the hypoparathyroid market. These are biologics, and they're special biologics. They're biologics with their custom system, so they'll probably last quite a long time. So I'm actually going to have what kind of discount rate should I use? I'm going to still go with the -1 just in case, but. And this G&A number is actually still pretty high. They can actually get even better margins than this, which is probably alarming to anybody that's ever done a business, been in business. But the funny thing about pharmaceuticals is they can have exceptionally high operating margins, higher than you can imagine. These are operating expenses. That's weird. Okay, hold on. So these are still quite high, above 50% operating margins. So I'm gonna just leave them as they are. Put interest, then we'll do taxes. All right, so what is 300 million-ish in perpetuity worth? Well, it's not worth 6 billion, I don't think. Let's see. Any finance student knows what roughly an annuity discounted by 9% is worth roughly 11 times that annuity, 1 divided by the discount rate. So this stock is trading for 6 billion. We gotta add back the little bit of cash that we're getting. And I'm including profits from a drug they don't even have FDA approval yet, and I basically don't even know how well it'll sell yet. I'm only saying they get $500 million of a $2 billion market. They're saying it's a $4 billion market, so maybe I'm being conservative. But $500 million would make it the second best-selling growth hormone. I think they expect it to be the best-selling growth hormone. And maybe it will be. Well, let's see what happens if it does become the best-selling growth hormone. Okay, now the stock is worth 6.7 billion, which is basically what the stock is trading for now anyway. So I'm not sure why I'd be too excited about that, right? 6 or 7 billion is about what the company's trading for. So they basically have to take over the growth hormone market, which may not happen, obviously, although it does seem like they have the best product. So it looks like the market's valuing Ascendis, ASND, kind of in the right spot.